Good morning, Mananda. Today we will discuss about the variables. What are variables? Variable itself says we are varying the value. So, for example, the name of some location of memory that used to hold the data value, that is nothing but the variable, right? So, different variables are having different data types. Of course, it is occupying some different sizes of memory, right? So, for example, take here int x is equal to 20. For example, now it is 20. After that, it may change the value. That is nothing but the variables. That means the value of the particular value of the particular variable can be varies somewhere. So that is nothing but the variable. You can declare once, but you can change the value later any times. So that is nothing but the variable. See this example. Here width is 3 and height is 4. So for example, you are calculating the area. Width into height is 12. After some time, I just want to change the width value to 6. Then the area value also be changed as from 12 to 24. Why? Because you are changing one of the variable. So correspondingly, the area will also be changed because of that change in the width value. So that is nothing but the variable. Like this, we are using the variables in Java. Not only in Java, in remaining courses also, remaining languages also, we are using the variables like this. So these are the some rules for giving the variable names. You should not start with a letter like $sign or underscore. You should start with some alphabets and shouldn't be followed by zero. And you should not give any keywords for the variable names also, right? So these are the some valid and invalid variables. Okay. So now I will explain what are the scope of the variables. Right, you are declaring some variables, but where you have to declare. So what is the main importance of that variable if you are declaring somewhere? So the variable scope means the lifetime of that particular variable means. So for example, here we are having three types of variables in Java. The first one is instance variables, second one is class variables, and the third one is local variables. Now I will explain what are these instance variables, class variables, and local variables. First one, instance variables. What is meant by instance? Here, the instance variable will be declared inside the class and outside the method. Where we can declare this? Inside the class, outside the method. That is nothing but the instance variable. The scope of this variable will be throughout the class, but except for the static methods. So inside the static method, you cannot use this variable. But throughout the class, you can use these instance variables. Until and unless the object stays in the memory, you can use the variables. See this code. So what is the variable of instance variable here? See, inside the class, outside the method, right? Here, class sample is the class. So inside the class and outside the method. What is the method here? Add. So between these class and methods, I am declaring x comma y. So these are nothing but the instance variables. The lifetime will be throughout the class. But these variables information will not be available for any static variables. So this is about the instance variables inside the class, outside the method. The next one is class variables. Class variables means you can declare it inside the class, outside the blocks, and it is marked as static in front of them. Wait, I will explain. See here, how I am declaring the variable here. Inside the class, outside the method. What is this int x comma y? These are nothing but the instance variables. But what about this result variable? In front of this result, I am giving the static keyword. That means this is nothing but the class variable. So this is the instance variable. This is the class variable. So what is the difference between instance variable and class variable? Only the static keyword. But both are defined inside the class, outside the method. And the lifetime of instance variable will be throughout the class. And what about the static class variables? It is also throughout the class and it is available for the static methods also. And the last type of data variable is local variables. What are local variables? Local means you have to declare inside the method only. See here, class sample is the class. Here, what is the index comma y? Instance variables. What is the result here? Class variable. And what about this sum? This sum you are defining inside the method. So this is local variable and the scope of this local variable will be inside this method only. If you are coming out of this method, the sum is not having any value, right? So the scope will be inside this method. But the scope of x and y will be total throughout the class. So that is the difference between the inside method and outside method. So this is about the scope of the variables in Java. Instance variables, local variables and class variables. Instance variables you can declare inside the method, inside the class and outside the method. But coming to class variables, inside the class and outside the method, but you should give static keyword in front of them. What about the local variables? You should define only inside the method. So this is about the variables types. And one more thing, in JVM, how these variables are storing means, these class variables are storing in class area and these instance variables are storing in method area, okay, and remaining are storing in stack area. So this is about the types of variables in Java.